moving forward, I think I'll let Joe introduce this next topic. We're kind of tying two topics together. And I really did this kind of as a cushion because I know in this pandemic, and I know we've talked about it, the three of us kind of privately, it's very hard to talk about this pandemic, at least from the perspective of an American, without getting political. And that's really, I mean, obviously you talk politics when it applies. It does sort of apply here, but there's some points you want to pick and choose your battles. We're also kind of getting started as a show. You want to be broadly appealing, especially when we're talking movies. So I tried to pick another topic to iron this out. But Georgia has announced, I'll throw it over to you, Joe. Georgia has announced that they are going to try to reopen the economy in their particular state. We live in Illinois, FYI, full disclosure. And also Warner Brothers is looking to make changes and really reevaluate, I think is the key word here, the operative word, the theatrical model. Joe, you were the one who kind of threw this topic out there, thought it was good. You could take the wheel on this and ask us what we think. Start the discourse.
So, Georgia as a state, they are slowly starting to open certain businesses back up, and movie theaters happens to be one of them. Now, the other ones, if you're wondering as well, like the ones that basically are going to be opening up are gyms, fitness centers, bowling alleys, beauty shops, salons, barbershops, body art studios, and they can start opening actually this Friday. So in 2 days, basically, they're going to be opening up. And in movie theaters, will be opening up very soon. I think the following week is when it's going to be happening. But yeah, I found this article, and I just got to say, like, two things that come to my mind is, one, is it time really to go to a theater and see anything with everything going on? And two, I mean, what are you really going to see at a movie theater right now with everything going on? Because we've been talking about this these past few shows. A lot of studios have pulled their movies back to either later this year or the following year. And right now, I don't think anything like really stayed the course. Like, yeah, you know what? We're gonna hope that a movie theater opens up in May, and then we'll throw out our summer blockbuster out then. I think everything has been pushed back. I don't know what you can be showing here today. The article doesn't really go into too much about like how they're planning to do this. It seems like, and that's my biggest worry too. And I want your guys' opinion on this too. Is that there really doesn't seem to be a plan here other than just to open. Like, okay, so are you going to do selective seating like AMC Theaters was planning to do before they shut down? Or people have to sit 2 seats away? How is concessions working? Are you letting people stand in line at concessions 6 feet away? Are you letting people serve food and possibly contaminate the food as well? Are they wearing gloves back there? The only thing this article really talks about is just, yeah, we want to reopen because, you know, we feel like it is the time to reopen and get businesses going again. People can start working. So it's not really just like I'm like, oh, like, hey guys, great, like a movie theater is opening. I'm more scared than ever, like that a movie theater is opening, and I love going to the movies.
I hear you. And I won't take too long on this one because I believe Dom's probably got more insightful and intelligent things to say.
I can see him looking off into the distance, like ready to like
pensively. No, I won't go too long on this, but no, it's absolutely true. And here's what I come back to, because now it's gotten to the point now where Illinois has been under a shelter-in-place order effectively for a month as of yesterday, even though it's felt like 3, but that's besides the point. Here's the thing that I keep telling people now, because all the states are getting antsy, all the states are trying to devise their own plans to reopen the economy and so reopen places. Here's what it boils down to, in my opinion. We're at the point now we're all restless. I think the killer part is not having anything really to look forward to, not anything to do. There's no concerts. There's no sporting events. The weather's getting nicer, but you can't go out. You can't go sit in a restaurant, sit outside and eat. You can't even do that. You can't even have people over, really. It's gotten to the point now where we're all restless. We're all antsy. We all want to return to normalcy. I could not agree more. And this is where you see the unprecedented aspect of this whole global pandemic. Is it safe to do that? Is it safe to go back there and go back down that line and just reopen things as normal? Because the whole point of this shutdown and the shelter in place is really so the hospitals don't get overcrowded. Because if the hospitals get overcrowded, I hate because you already used our one F-bomb today. If the hospitals get overcrowded, we are so beyond screwed. That's when you're really going to start seeing stuff crumble. And that's the biggest concern with this whole pandemic. I would love nothing more than to go to a movie theater right now. But in terms of food preparation, theater cleanliness, and in terms of space and social distancing, it is not a wise idea. Yeah. And to Joe's point, too, what are you going to show? There's nothing new out. Are you going to go back to showing Bad Boys for Life, which everybody's already seen? Sonic the Hedgehog. These are movies that are available and accessible on streaming services that most people have. That's the other thing. What are you going to show?
You're going to go to a theater and then you're going to pay for each of your family members' tickets when you could just pay $20 to watch it at home? Like, okay, like that's 2 tickets basically right there rather than paying, I'm going to say like a general family size is 4 to 5 people. So it's just like, what are you going to do? Pay 5 tickets or just one $20 price tag?
And not have to leave the house.
Yeah, and then you don't have to leave the house either.
Dominic, throw it over to you. I was going to say your thoughts on this whole matter.
The phrase for today is adapt or die. And that applies to the theaters. That applies to the people who really want to go to a theater. Adapt or die. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't mind the latter part of that phrase right now, because really think about it, right? You park, get out of the car, you have to open a door, maybe there's a hand railing there, you got to talk to the ticket handler, you got to pick out a thing, or even worse, you got to go to an automated kiosk and you got to input a bunch of buttons. All right, are they wiping that? Is there a dude wiping that down every time someone goes to it? I don't think so. You got to open the door on the way to the main lobby. You got to hand the ticket to the person at the kiosk to verify that you had the ticket. If you want a snack, that's about 10 different ways that you can get infected right there. You got to open the door to the theater. There's a funnel, right? There's the little hallway that leads to a theater. So, if the movie is popular, which is, like the only reason why you would go to a theater, which is, one of 2 reasons I would say, is one for like something like IMAX, and 2, the crowd experience. If it's a popular movie, you're going to be funneled into the theater, shoulder to shoulder, and then you're sitting next to people in the dark. No one's going to be monitoring, please sit next to, please keep 2 seats apart. No one's going to be monitoring that. Nope. And then in the middle of the movie, people are just going to readjust anyway because they're stupid. Adapt or die. And people want to cling to the old, in this current environment. Because, I'm an old fashioned dude, right? I like vinyl. I like stupid ways that no one, stupid ways of consuming media that no one does anymore. I get it. But like, what? You don't need this right now. I can't think of the lawsuits that are going to come in, because of course people are going to launch lawsuits against the theaters, maybe even the studios that are pushing this or whatever. So culpability, think about that. This is just a disaster waiting to happen all around, and that's just theaters alone, right? Just adapt for a little while. We are living in an unprecedented age of access to entertainment and media. And Steve, I just noticed the Pornhub clock on your wall there to your left, our right. But like,
oh, that's right, my background's not blurred.
That's your own damn fault.
That's my I wear it proudly. It's the first thing you see when you walk in.
There you go. Really, you don't need this right now. You are clinging to some sense of normalcy. Just adapt for a little while. There was a great, I'm not on Twitter, but I saw screen caps of this tweet. I don't know from who, but it was like Anne Frank lived in a freaking, closet for 2 years. We have the internet, and we can do this call right now. We're fine, and obviously I understand there is a thing like depression, and you need to keep your spirits up. I don't want to disacknowledge the actual legitimate emotional impact of everyone staying home. That is valid, but in comparison to the prospect of death, right? a lot of my family members are nurses and doctors. The stories that they have is nothing to laugh at. I'm laughing. I'm chuckling right now because I have to. And it's you're gonna be fine without your theater experience just for a little while. We already got Endgame. We're good.
Yeah.
You got the best of them all for a while.
I didn't even think about that. If this was last year.
After that, honestly.
They're all on Disney Plus anyway. Actually, okay, so yeah, the Black Widow, whatever. But like, you're fine. Just wait a little while.
Dom brings up an excellent point. I don't want to go too long on this tangent, but holy crap, can you imagine if this happened this time last year? Because Endgame would come out, I believe, the 25th. The 25th of April.
Today's the anniversary of it, yeah.
You're not stopping the nerds. That's a lost cause. That's a whole generation lost right there.
Yeah, I mean, like New Mutants got delayed, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's expected." But this, this was like that would have been something. Dom, I think Dom said it best, man. I mean, no, it's true. And here's the thing: of anybody, number one, obviously, the thing I miss the most is really gatherings, like getting together with my coworkers, going out for food after work, getting together with friends and stuff. That's really been a killer for me. Second is movie theaters. I have to say it's a close second too. Second is movie theaters. Third is bars and restaurants. Those in that order. But again, it's one of those things where it's like the risk doesn't outweigh the reward. You know what I mean? It does not outweigh the reward. This sucks for everybody. That's the only good part. Is it's not like there's a demographic that's, it's not like only the elderly have to stay inside. No, this affects us all. It is equally shitty for all of us.
Yeah.
There's not a person who hasn't had to adapt their lives in some capacity. Even cellar dwellers. I mean, there's no demographic that has been absolved from this whole pandemic in America. So that's the we're all in this together spirit I like to preach, because it's like we're all going through it. That's the best way I could put it. We're all getting through the getting by over here. Joe, any more to add on this? Because
I just forgot to say, Anthony D'Alessandro, he wrote the article on Deadline. An article doesn't. Once again, it doesn't mention, because this guy probably doesn't know the information either, because who actually has any idea of how this is going to work? The only thing it mentions is that, government basically in Georgia, they're discussing on how this would work right now, even though it's planning to open up, and I do have a date, next Monday. So next Monday, the 27th, is when they're planning to open up theaters. There is no information, though, of what theater chains are going to open, what films they're going to show, or how they're going to go about this. So who knows if AMC is going to be like, yeah, we'll show movies in Georgia. This might just be local, pick theaters, like $2 a ticket to go see some movie that was out 3 months ago or whatever. And it's like, even then, you get those theaters, those are really small theaters, but they only have one screen inside of them. So everybody is going the same route at a theater. So it's just it's just idiotic to me to do this, because there is no plan. And then, not to mention, I know this is a movie podcast. I go to the gym. I have a gym membership. You're planning to open up gyms. That is one of the most germ-infested places ever. I wipe down my equipment all the time when I use it. Not everybody does that. So I can't imagine what a gym or any other business that they're planning to open up is going to be like this Friday. And I can only imagine how movie theaters are going to be next Monday. If you want to go to the theater so bad, you need to open up the business again. You know what? This is the perfect time, I guess, for drive-in theaters to make their comeback. Because at least you're limiting some social distancing. You're keeping people in their cars away from each other. And it's just the only thing they really have to talk to is the ticket salesperson. After that, at least they're in their car. If you have to open up a theater, if you really have to, so people can get out of cabin fever, which I hate to say it, guys, cabin fever, the disease of that isn't as bad as the coronavirus. If you have to, the whole, you can at least do drive-in theaters if you have to open up anything at the very least.
And again, there is, we're not completely dismissing the legitimate, psychological damage that a whole species, humanity is suffering from being, cooped up inside. Well, that's legitimate. Yeah, I don't want to downplay that. But again, the alternative is choking on your own fluids while a ventilator is desperately trying to keep you alive. And not just you. You can't just live with your choices. You can kill someone else by doing it. Again, I hate to leave it on a negative note, but this is serious stuff. and it's just not worth it to get your stupid movie in. And we love movies, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I'm sorry.
No.
There's been no movie so far of 2020 that I'm like,
Yeah,
it's worth dying for.
There's no movie.
I'm sorry.
Could you
Sonic is not worth dying for.
No.
could you
No.
imagine dying because you saw Coffee and Kareem? You made that
Oh.
trek to go see Coffee and Kareem in
The
theater.
Lovebirds or something. I mean,
Like-
I'd say probably the only thing I would risk my health and safety for to go to a theater is Clerks 3. That'd probably be the only thing. Clerks 3.
Like, and
That
I-
would be the only movie.
I
All
enjoy-
joking. Joking aside.
I enjoyed like Bad Boys for Life and Harley Quinn and whatnot, but it's just like, again, not a movie that is worth going to see at a theater that you might possibly die for. Like, go watch it at home. It's all at home. And it's
Movie
like-
theaters are not essential for a reason.
And again, like, if the plan is, because theaters were talking about this when they first opened back up, like, what movies will we show? Because, like, this has been a discussion for a while. They have discussed about showing Avengers Endgame again, The Lion King, basically movies that made a killing last year. I hate to say it, those were all Disney movies. You can watch them all on Disney Plus and stay
Yep.
at home and stay safe for $7 a month. I hate to say it, but it's a better alternative. This is not going to help theaters at all.
I like that. I like this discussion the way we did it so much. I think I'll table the Warner Brothers reevaluating the theatrical market for maybe next week's show.
right.
I think we really did a good job breaking that down. That was a really good kind of a discourse.